All righty. Welcome back, everybody. This is our continuing series on getting to know your business tech corner pro staff alpha team. Thanks for joining us. We have today with us Mr. Mark Perrone.
Hello, how are we doing today, Greg?
We are doing good. So we're tell you what, man, I'm glad you showed up today because we're mixing it up. I've been interviewing you all, and today you're going to interview me. So just to set the stage, and then we'll turn it over to you. You know, we're just taking a few minutes to get together, do just a little deeper dive into the people that give their time and share their knowledge every week. You know, a little more behind the scenes, a little more personal than we get to take, because hey, we're part of A7. It's our culture, man. We connect, you know, we serve, we ask, we share. Yep. That's what we do. I had 3 one-on-ones in the last 2 weeks where we had to reschedule because we barely even got any talking. I mean, like business talk. It was all interconnection. So
yeah, it's great. The community is great for that.
It really is. I love it. So you're in charge.
Gotcha. So I'll just shoot from the hip here a little bit, get to know you, kind of follow suit how you've given us the opportunity to explain who we were. I want to, give you the chance to answer a few questions that are kind of a little more general, right? But it's more about you than your business. It's the passion side of what you do. So can you kind of give us a little background on how you got started?
Absolutely. So I am a long time geek or nerd back before it was a badge of honor, right? The world depended on all of us. Yeah. I got a University of Arizona. Back then, it was a new degree called MIS degree, which was kind of neat because a computer degree in the business college.
Yeah.
Which I got to tell you, man, that has served me really well over the years.
So you're a smart guy from the beginning, huh?
Well, I guess if I liked math more, I'd have been an engineer.
Sure.
Understood. I'm kind of a social guy too, so the business side and helping people and serving people, and we get into that. I'll share a little bit more about that. And so we just spent decades probably, helping small businesses with everything tech. I mean, hardware, software, networks, everything that it took to run a business, which was the foundation of my training. It's people using procedures on data, utilizing hardware, software. So in the world, even in today's world, some of the tools that we have are easy. The people, the procedures, that's where the nuances and frankly the skill set, is like the softwares will run, the computers will run, but how do we make it all work for everybody?
Yeah, the personality plus all that is the key to it, right?
Oh boy, it really is. And then we found this thing called the internet.
The internet.
And like I said, being a geek, we were on these precursors to it that were old DOS, text screens and bulletin board systems and chat rooms. But then the World Wide Web came, and it was kind of graphical and
it's crazy,
and way better, And so we embraced that right away. And so probably even in the early 2000s, we did G2 Internet Solutions. So G2, Greg Goshorn, G2.
That's cool. I didn't know that. 2 Gs. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So we had this. I love this word, the boutique internet solutions company, right? So we were. It was perfect because that's what we were used to doing, was serving, small businesses. We liked people. We cared about people. We could pick who we could work with. We like people who could make a decision and write a check. We've had our times with the big companies, and frankly, sometimes they're harder to work for, with, or get paid.
Yeah, the cycle time on those is very, very daunting. Sometimes you get those, net 60 net 2-month people that are wanting to kind of drag out the payment for us small business owners. That's always tough, right?
Oh, it was mean. And I tell you what else, it was tough in those days. I was trying to dial up. I mean, I'm old, dude. We were dial up and no hardly any graphics, no video. And then it got better. We had the faster modems or cable, and then social media came along, and so But we only started when we started. We were just email was kind of the only way you could get an opt in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we our funnel.
Sure.
It's word everywhere, funnel. But it was always the idea of strangers to suspects to prospects to known to nurture to client to advocate, right? You teach this.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly. That's crazy.
And so now, dude, it's amazing. Now we've done so much over time. And today we help business owners, map their entire marketing system, grow their business, have a blueprint, and it's really neat. I mean, we can see results in 30 days and just grow from there.
So it's funny with that perspective. I'm 42, right? So about the time that you were getting into the MIS training side of things, I was just learning, home row skills, basically, like really getting into that stuff. So the MIS perspective is always smart guy stuff for me, right? I'm more of a user kind of business case side person.
Right.
So I want to know, with that kind of macro level perspective, what have you learned about business from being in it for so long on that kind of marketing data side of business?
I can tell you that there's timeless strategies, that always work. I mean, the same things that tickled it earlier, taking good care of people, finding the right people, doing the right things, getting to know them. And so that's always been the same. And that's been interpersonal, like to the business owners that we serve. And we're still proud to serve our clients. I had to skip a call earlier because there was a website down. And
sure,
they're the reason we're in business. But what is neat is the ever-changing tactics, right?
Sure.
So the old cards would say, strategic and tactical. And,
sure.
And now 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but it's true. There's fundamental concepts and there's different ways to deploy them.
Sure. So as far as like map your marketing goes, right? That's something that you've kind of coined here recently. And I feel like that is a good specific general topic that, with a perspective like what you have, leads to a more profound understanding of the way your marketing investment, not your budget, works. Is that where kind of that concept culminated from?
Well, it kind of did. And it comes from, having that big view and then having to break it down and get it out of your head and on. We used to be on the paper, and now we got onto the screen, right? With this really great tool. Because what we still find, and frankly, in some moments, I'm guilty of it too. Like, do I have an exact blueprint? What is the whole plan? What is this exact thing going to be? And so we've invested. We have this beautiful, now another new word, SaaS company, right? So it's a software. Well, it's a service. Well, it always was. It's online. It's a SaaS company.
Sure.
But it's just a tool. Like, you just have a pen and a yellow pad to get it out of your head and then on paper. But now it's easy to share. We do our presentations in it. And we map your marketing. Mappingyourmarketing.com is a new one, right? But it could be anything. It could be a standard operating procedure. It could be onboarding procedure. It could be, how do you do a fulfillment? How do you make a Big Mac? Well, you open the thing and you put 2 patties on, and after 1 minute you flip them, and then you pay and place 3 pickles so they don't fall off the customer's lap. I mean, procedures drive the system, right? Sure. So many people just jump into it because they hear these buzzwords without a blueprint.
So it's interesting that people, processes, technology perspective. We touch on that inside of my company, and we add strategy on top. So it's interesting that you're going into the strategy perspective, because it's strategy, people, processes, and technology where I'm at. And it's great to see your concept of, the strategic approach, and then going through the personality of the people to develop the processes and then deliver the IT, not going product first, going process first. That's really, really cool.
It really is. I mean, Michael Gerber did it in the E-Myth, and I'm listening to it again, and that's what it is. I mean, the fundamental of it's like a successful business is kind of systems, but they're distilled from these other things.
So the question begs to be answered. With all of that being said, what are some of the myths around that perspective? I know I have challenges around assumptions that people make, and the idea that you come to the table with a strategic approach to try to execute for people, right? What is a myth associated with what you're doing that you always have to break stride with?
Well, so you're a digital marketer, a marketing agency, an online. So the myth is like, oh, you just play on the internet all day, and you see these things. I love these memes, they've been around forever. And there's like, what I think I do, what my parents think I do, what my customer thinks I do. And in there, and they're beautiful things, man. I love them. And so that is kind of the myth. And truth be told, I mean, I'm seen online because I'm a student, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was nothing back then. So now online is social, and you kind of have to be in the playground, where you are. And so that's sort of a myth, but I'm learning. I'm teaching. I mean, I teach every week, but then I learn every week. I have mentors all the time. I paid mentors. I invested in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, between you and me, buddy, if I didn't need it, I probably wouldn't have Facebook.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I hear you talk about the teaching thing, and one of the statements you always make, it seems to come up, a couple times a month at least, is kind of the heart of the teacher. Is that your favorite part of what you do?
Oh boy, I've learned the right way to kind of say that, and it is. I mean, I was tutoring kids in cafeteria in 6th grade, and all the way through. And I do. I love learning, and I love sharing. I love giving, and so it's been fundamental to what I do. I mean, I teaching somebody a skill. It could be how to play guitar. It could be how to cast a fishing pole.
Mm-hmm.
To be, truly it is fundamental with this guy.
Okay. All right. So as far as something about you that most people wouldn't know, is there anything out there that is kind of a hidden little secret or hidden talent, something that you do that you don't share often?
It is, man. I notice you have an instrument over there. So yep. I have been playing the guitar for decades and decades, man. And so, I mean, I've played bands since the 80s. Yeah, sure. I played on stage. We've done a bunch of that, which I don't make, a lot of it out there. And it's super fun. It's kind of like get the heck away from technology, right. Get that instrument, play that note, just rings true, or playing in the band on stage, super fun. Heck, I still play every week with our friends.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it's not work, man. It's hard being a band and make it work. So it's all just for fun. Our tagline is, who has more fun than us?
Oh, that's awesome. It's funny. Somebody asked me about playing an instrument a week or so ago, and they asked me about why I picked it up so late, right? I was like 40 when I started to try to learn. And the thing for me that I think resonates in what you're saying is it's funny the thoughts that come up when you're disconnected from what you do, and then you push that to the back of your mind and you focus on the thing you're trying to accomplish. And then after you come out of it, having more fun than anybody else, there's a real perspective from that, right? Like a concept of like, man, I could have never thought of that had I not been doing this other thing that was very technical. Music's a technical thing, right?
Yeah. It's an escape, and it's great. I mean, when you're there with that instrument, or it could be whatever, man. When you get on that golf course, but you forget about everything else. You just do your thing. Okay, you got hike, whatever your jam is. It's funny, whatever you do.
Gotcha. So as far as motivation goes, you're a pretty inspired guy when you get involved in something. I know that you take a lot of notes. You're very detail oriented. What motivates you to be the way you are inside the industry that you're in?
I am. I'm kind of like a dual lobe, right? I've got a Virgo, so technical and detail, but also, friendly. And a big punch of it, is probably the way I was raised. I mean, I'm blessed to have good family, and are they doers? Are they get her done? Are they maybe slight workaholics? We come from that. Work a job, and we're DIY people, so it's you got get home and, well, you got this, I'm fixing this up, I'm painting that, or I'm making it, so,
Mm-hmm.
so it's, I got to-do list. I got a whiteboard with a couple columns, it's got
Mm-hmm.
work stuff and all my home projects. So there's something neat about getting up and jumping into the day.
Sure. So that motivation, we have a little bit of commonality around seeing problems as tests more than roadblocks, right? Like, get out there and fail a little bit, right? That motivation to just, when in doubt, figure it out is a big piece of why I like working with you. And I'm sure, I don't know a lot of your clients, but I'm sure that's a big thing that you get complimented on. Does that come up often for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that rang true when we met. Like how you set progress over perfection, or fail forward, or let's get it done. I don't know exactly how, but we're gonna take a stab at it. And otherwise, and I've been guilty of this in my past. My detail size, like, well, until it's all done, I can't do it.
Sure.
And the guy doesn't make any mistakes, don't do anything.
Yeah. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. That I just had a discussion here recently with someone who was kind of bucking the system a little bit, where they saw a different endpoint than what the leader of the project we were doing was. And my association to him was, man, if you keep rowing against everyone else, you guys are never going to get anywhere. You got to stay motivated in the same path, stay in your tribe's kind of motivation, and make sure that the people around you are getting complimented by your efforts. And I know that you consistently add to everything that we do inside of H7 when we're working with the one-to-one perspective, just trying to meet more people whenever we do events. I know you do a lot of LinkedIn Lives, right?
Well, we've been fortunate to figure out, video a long time ago, like 8 or 9 years ago. I think video is going to be big online. So we've done, a bunch of that, and again, that's transcribed in the evolution of the world. So these days it's StreamYard, like we're on now, which broadcast to multi-platform. So we could do one thing here in the studio, push it to Facebook Live, do a recording, do it to LinkedIn Live. And so, I mean, it's videos and crazy. Like 15 years ago, man, not fair, I'm making stuff up. 10 years ago, we kind of had this ebook, like How and Why Video Works. And this is just like the next incarnation of it. And frankly, live is probably a little harder. There's no editing. I mean, you capturing, keeping attention is a challenge.
It's tough to keep that flow. So I know you partner with a couple people doing the live circumstances like we're doing right now on StreamYard, trying to, collaborate. So inside this StreamYard, you are doing the LinkedIn Live, so people can find you on LinkedIn, right?
Oh man, I'm telling you, I'm everywhere, buddy. On Facebook, I'm LinkedIn. We got Facebook group, Business Tech Corner group. I'm starting another LinkedIn group. So hopefully, when you look me up, but I love LinkedIn. That's really selfishly where I love to spend a lot of time, because in my mind, it is undeniably the best social media platform right now. I'm a business to business thing. It's low hanging fruit, organic reach. We teach this all the time, right? Get out in front, you don't have to be an influencer, but be a creator, be a person who's putting stuff out there. And LinkedIn is the place to do it. So please find me there.
And then, so as far as the Facebook group goes, I'd actually forgotten about this. How many people are in your group now?
We just busted 200.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm working up. We're going to do a little celebration and a giveaway, and maybe a little contest, like a little, who can invite the most, and do a giveaway over there. So it is really as neat. We're going to focus on that here in the second half of the year, and keep growing that and keep sharing over there.
It's funny. I've been mingling with some new influencers, right? I'll use the quotation marks, the new influencers, the ones that are really focused on LinkedIn. And it's funny, a lot of them are asking the question, why am I even on Facebook? And it's related to the reach, right? LinkedIn organic is still the most powerful platform that's out there. We both know that they're slowly but surely getting to the paid campaign model and making that better and better. But for now, if I go on LinkedIn, how do I find you?
Well, Greg Goshorn,
Okay.
So it's Goshorn, and come find us and connect.
Yeah.
And, we got a company page too. We put stuff out there. We'll be pushing more lives, and I don't know, there might be podcasting in the future.
Do it, man. That's awesome. I can't get that thing under control. I'm like jealous of all you guys that are getting in the podcast thing because there's so much stuff to do there. Like you definitely have to be an expert on podcasting to have a good podcast, right?
It is not as hard as it probably used to be. There's lots of tools out there. And frankly, it turns out a bunch of stuff I know about gear from music and cameras from video and recording and all that. It is the tech part is pretty easy for a guy like me. You know, it's the messaging. And I love it because we get a chance once again to bring people on, interview people, and probably a little similar format like this.
So you're going to be doing interviews on your podcast?
That I think is going to be a big part of it, right? I think I'm going to have some sessions maybe where I'm showing, but I think there's a lot to be said, for the interview process. Like value that I can bring and value that guests can bring.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so I know that you have a lot of freemium giveaway stuff, right? There's tons of ways that you're adding value to all those that you would like to do business with and people you just want to help. Are you guys going to be doing any giveaways, or are you adding anything to kind of the bag of tricks that you got going on over there?
Where to start? I have 10 lead magnets, each of these different divisions, but we're really going to start with like kind of some of our core stuff that's near and dear, so our core 4 is reputation, social, traffic, and funnels. But the foundation is still reputation. I mean, if you get attention through ads or social, the first thing they do, go check you out. So you better shore that up, In fact, I was laughing that I'm making a post, and it's going to be like, it models. There's an old ad that says, they laugh when I started playing piano. But then, by the time I got done, they all want to know how I learned or whatever. So I'm going to do the same thing. They laugh when I start talking about reputation. But dang, it's super great. I mean, everybody looks at it. It's good for Google. It's good for people. It's good for trust. It's good for social proof. And so that's kind of what we decided today. We have, a e-guide on managing your reputation and a comprehensive report like, what reviews you have and how your social and your website looks. And you get all that at leveragereputation.com.
I was gonna ask you if there was a site that we could go to see that. Okay, so in closing, kind of just wrapping things up here. Anything that we left out that you'd like to touch on? Anything that you want to add?
Man, I don't know. I got to say, I really loved finding H7 in the past couple of years, and the community that's had, and the opportunities that's helped me to give back to the community. We're kind of speaking to them, but who else is going to hear this? So join H7. If you're in H7, come to Business Tech Corner, and because everybody kind of needs technology, right? But then also, go to Fuel, learn everything H7 has. Go to Champions, because really, that's a critical piece. Like,
it is
learning how to find your tribe, learn how to find your champions, and learn how to be a champion.
Yep, that accountability piece is really, really important. All right, well, let's wrap it up here. Where can we find you? Where would you like us to look for you if we were trying to find you?
So I'm gonna drive you back to LinkedIn. Greg Goshorn on LinkedIn. When this is done in post, we'll have links. For people, you can go down here. Online local video is a great spot. And then at the risk of throwing too many calls to action out there, if you're interested in the mapping your marketing.com, you can kind of see it in action, like how it all kind of works and how it can work for you.
So I love that you got mapyourmarketing.com. That's awesome. The other thing from the big takeaway here for me, from everything that you've taught me, is content generation is really about broadcasting your reputation. So I'm going to leave it on that. The concept of, understanding that you can use your reviews as part of your content strategy and double up on your LinkedIn posts, anything you do on Facebook, your email campaigns. It really does all start where you're teaching people about reputation marketing. So I appreciate that. And I want to thank you for everything you've taught me.
Well, you are sure welcome, man. And that's what we love. We love people, singing the praises and spreading the word. So I sure appreciate you switching seats, man, being a host today.
Yeah,
and
it's
come
nice.
back to watch. We're doing this with all of the leaders of Business Tech Corner.
Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Good fortune.